Stand down. If I wanted to, you'd be dead already.
You're not a god. You're not even a man.
AJ Styles win.
AJ, why do you say that name?
AJ has to win.
Stop saying that name.
Wait a minute. You like AJ too?
I do like AJ.
Why are we fighting anymore? We should be buddies.
Chris Jericho will be dead by the end of the evening.
We'll now make the Justice League.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the 1-year anniversary of the Loki and Jabroni show. Across the table from me,
Loki.
My name is Jabroni.
And I can't believe it's been a year.
I know. Who'd have thought this marriage would have lasted?
We jumped up pretty freaking high. We've been doing pretty good.
Wow. How do you feel?
I feel great, man.
I feel awesome.
I feel absolutely great.
And what better way than on our 1-year anniversary to do exactly what we did 1 year ago today. And let's talk about tomorrow's Wrestlemania card.
Oh, I'm so excited.
With our return guest, Gary Wolfe. He'll be calling in just about 8 minutes. So we got 8 minutes of hilarity for you. Just want to do a couple things here for you. I want to play this message from former guest Eric Askew. He called in to the Click to Call, and this is what he had to say.
Hey, this is Eric Askew. I just want to thank Loki and Jabroni for having me on the show and hope they have another fantastic year. I hope everybody enjoys the show as much as I do. Thanks, guys. You're amazing.
That's pretty cool. Thanks.
That is awesome.
Thank you, Eric. He was a 2-time guest. In case anybody missed it, he was here for his 3D art, and then he joined us for the Conspiracy Theory episode. So we got a lot of return guests. I love it.
Which he really asked, you know.
Yep. Shamans has been twice. Gary, this will be his second run. Eric twice.
Well, technically,
Jason
if you want to
twice?
count, you know, the 3 hours we interviewed Gary, you can count this as 3.
This could be his third. Bill Starkey technically is a 2-time guest.
Yeah, because we had the double interview.
That's right. So, guys, real quick, I should hit this button right here since it's WrestleMania Day.
Promotional consideration paid for by the following.
If you have some scratch in your pocket and an itch for ink, I want you guys to go see our friends at Sublime Ink, 577 Route 12 in Groton, Connecticut. Their phone number is 860-445-4200. In fact, I was just on the phone the other day with my man Falcon Dave. Go see Falcon Dave Kovalik. Go see Dana Batts. Go see Justin Furr. Or, of course, you could see
Dave the Nightmare Kruger.
I'll bet he's getting laid on top of laid just because of that.
You know, if you want the intro, boy, I can't bring it to your room. I mean, I can record it for you or something
absolutely.
like that, you know, but
So, as I was saying, mention you heard it here on the Loki and Jabroni show. Let them know that we keep pushing them and we keep showing them love. Also, last week we had Big Ian Cunningham, sitting right here in the studio, all about April 30th, 2016. That is Veterans Pro Wrestling Colors for a Cause, a vet and cancer awareness event. $10 per person. Doors open at noon. Lectures, bands, entertainment, stand-up comedy, Loki and Jabroni live. And wrestling starts at 5 p.m.
We're going to have all kinds of fun. We're going to be doing skits all day. We're going to have, you know, random people showing up at our spot. It's just, trust me, out of all the places that are going on, Ian, I know you're a comedic genius and a lot of people expect it from you. But what's going to be bumping and what's going to be happening is the Loki and Jabroni.
That's right.
I guarantee it. Our little booth is going to be shaking and happening. And, you know,
it's going to be
sorry,
awesome.
man. Sorry.
And I am looking forward to I'm actually contemplating staying for the whole thing because I'd like to see how everything turns out between Chris, Rescue 911, Anino, and Big Ian Cunningham. Throw Richie Rich into the mix, and we've got ourselves a bit of a slobber knocker.
Oh, definitely.
Did I say slobber knocker?
You did say slobber knocker. Good old JR.
Ladies and gentlemen, my name is... It doesn't matter what your name is.
I see a lot of that going on.
I do. So rumors,
Go ahead.
before we start into this, because we will make this everything WWE,
Absolutely.
you know, except for a couple little things here and there.
Right.
But rumors actually put Goldberg
Yes.
in the scenario.
Here's the problem I had. I read that late. It was like 11:15 at night on the 31st.
You thought it was April Fool's?
I did, until I saw the byline.
And yet, be honest with you, I thought this Axl Rose thing was going to be a fucking an April Fool's, and nobody dropped the bomb. I was waiting for it all day yesterday. I guess they really do believe that Axl is going to be the front man for AC/DC.
There's pictures of him leaving a studio in Atlanta with the guys from AC/DC.
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying. I mean, if anybody really wanted to fuck with you, that's the best way to do it. You know, set it up with all that, and then, haha, April Fool's,
you know
guys
how many
fell for
times
it.
I've heard Gene Simmons died on April 1st?
No, exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
so
But, I mean,
I see
this to me, if they pull off this Goldberg thing, I know Goldberg's been wanting to wrestle one last match, which is kind of funny because every single time somebody retires, you hear that one last match, one last match. Well, he really does want one last match. So how do you do it?
Okay, I was going to get into this with Gary because I'm sure he's going to have something to say about it. The best scenario I can see is having him interfere in that Hell in a Cell and helping Shane McMahon win. Now you've pissed off the dead man. Now you have dead man Goldberg.
Every time Shane has won, it's because of interference.
It usually is, yeah. I think he's
and it's nothing against and it's nothing against his wrestling skill, but you're not a wrestler, dude.
No.
You know what I'm saying? You own the company. Well, your dad owns the company, and you own the company.
You're part-time like a paper route, dude.
Right, exactly. So, I mean, every single major fight that he has won. Now, granted, he's done some stupid things. And even this past fucking Raw, he jumped across the fucking ring onto the fucking table.
ESPN. I didn't watch Raw this Monday.
And you guys, let me put this in perspective for you, okay? That's like me or you deciding one of these days, you know what? Let's go do some wrestling. And then for about 2 months, you train straight. Mm-hmm. Not every day, for your whole life, for your whole career. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
This is Shane just going through his normal desk job, doing this, doing that. And then all of a sudden he turns around and he's flinging himself off of, Titantrons. He's flinging himself off of fucking top ropes. Motherfucker's like 40 plus years old, dude. Your bones,
46 if I read right.
Your bones don't exactly heal right at that point. And it's bad enough when you are used to doing it. When you're not used to doing it and you're throwing your body into the mix like
and
this.
If you go
I got to give it to him. I really do.
Those highlights from when he was 30 and he's jumping off the Titantron and he's doing these crazy coast-to-coast jumps and kicking the garbage can into somebody's face. You're still 30. You're not 22. You're not one of these young guys. But when you look at it, a lot of these guys hit their peak in their 30s. Right. AJ Styles looks great every time I see him, 38 years old. Chris Jericho, never a bad match, 44 years old. Some of these guys don't hit their stride until they're that age, but they're doing it almost every day. And like you said, Shane's been out of the game, what? I think his last match was in 07?
Yeah.
08?
Yep.
So you've been out of the game 8 years. Yeah, it's going to be a little rough for you, guy, but you know what? Good on you. You can still do it. And all those chants, every time he pulls off one of those crazy moves, like, you still got it.
Yeah.
And he does. He's doing a great job, and I look forward to seeing that match. That's probably my second. The second match that I'm most looking forward to is Undertaker Shane McMahon. Not so much. Look, Undertaker should have retired 4 years ago. My opinion.
I agree.
But
I agree.
He comes back for that one match. He always puts on a great show.
He does. I can't take that away from him. He just like you said, he does. He really does put his all into it. Mm-hmm. I mean, hell, you really want to break it down. His last 6 matches were probably the best of his career.
Starting with Shawn Michaels and then going to last year with Bray Wyatt.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Were his best.
I thought he put on a heck of a show against Lesnar.
Most of the time, I mean, you think about when he first came onto the scene, and especially when he was mega popular during the Dead Man phase, you couldn't even touch him.
No.
You couldn't touch him. I mean, look at fucking Sid Vicious. You know what I'm saying? You really thought that was... come on, did you not think that was the one who was going to do it? Possibly. When Sid Vicious went up against The Undertaker, he had him, but Bret Hart comes in and does his little fucking thing.
You would definitely, and that was WrestleMania 13, I believe.
Yes.
You certainly could see that, Sid Vicious at that time, being the guy to knock him off.
But of course, everybody knows how that ended up.
Yeah.
But, I mean, even that match.
I would have given it to a year earlier. I thought maybe Kevin Nash had a better shot, but Kevin Nash is then 2 weeks away from WCW. They're not going to let him beat the biggest name in the company.
And let's not forget about who they had replace him. That big fat Diesel and the even fatter Razor Ramon.
And the fake Diesel turned out to be?
I forget.
Later on? Kane.
Yeah, Kane. That's right.
How about that? Oh, man. So it's great. I'm actually looking forward to WrestleMania for the first time in many years.
We're going to have a little shindig here.
Yep. I think the last one I saw that I watched live, oh, Lord, I think it was CM Punk and Jericho. And CM Punk had Living Color, play him to the ring.
Yes.
That was fantastic.
Yep.
I know The Undertaker was involved. Funny story about that is sitting there with my good friend Mike Coons. He's a listener. You can find him at K&M All-Star Sports in the Tanger Outlets at Foxwoods if you're ever in there. And I had said something about a move. I forget who Undertaker was fighting. And I said, you know, what's the problem? He basically brushed that move off. And Mike said, Undertaker don't sell that move. I'm like, Undertaker doesn't sell shit but T-shirts.
Exactly.
That's all he was at that point. It's all he is now, but he's an attraction, kind of like Andre the Giant toward the end. He was an attraction. You see Andre, you want to go see Andre. Now, WrestleMania, you want to see The Undertaker? There he is. You know every year he's going to be there. Question for you. Is this his last time?
I really hope so. Seriously, I really hope so. It's. I'm not trying to take anything away from him because, like you said, he does. He's like Sting. He's immortal. Like the shit that he's pulled off. Like he was one of the founding, fathers of wrestling that really brought it through that Attitude Era. Everybody that was in my opinion, everybody that was involved in the Attitude Era, the WCW, and all that other stuff going on. That is what made wrestling.
That was the hottest period since the 80s. You're right.
Exactly.
It was bigger than the 80s.
And to be honest with you, they're still riding those fucking coattails to this day. You know what I'm saying? You can still whip out You Smell What the Rock Is Cooking fucking T-shirt, and you will sell that. Right. You will sell more freaking copies of that fucking T-shirt than you will of a John Cena right now. You know, and it's just because it holds on so strong. It's because they were not afraid to take the shots, and they weren't afraid to, kind of smack people around and be like, this is the Attitude Era, man. This is what's going on.
Exactly.
But, all right, guys, so we're going to be bringing Mr. Pitbull #1 back onto the show here very, very soon here, guys. So you'll be calling in any second now, so you just hang on. We'll be right back.
Ladies and gentlemen, back on the Loki and Jabroni show after a 6.5-month absence, I want to welcome ECW original Pitbull #1, Gary Wolfe. Gary, thanks for taking time out today.
Yo, what's up, guys? I really appreciate it. Back on the show, baby.
We really appreciate having you back.
So it's WrestleMania weekend, and you being an expert in the ways of professional wrestling, we thought it would be great to walk through the card for tomorrow at AT&T Stadium in Dallas, Texas, and get all of our viewpoints on where we think these matches are going to go.
Yeah, sounds good.
All right, so hold on. Before we get started, I just have to ask you, because obviously, me and Jabroni here have never strapped on, but they always talk about, WrestleMania being the immortal, the showcase of the gods. And, like, when you have that big moment, when you have that match, can you just tell me, like, how does it feel?
To be in front of, especially in Dallas, you're talking, they're going to probably fit almost 100,000 in there if they could get it filled. I've been in front of 55,000, 65,000, and honestly, it's the biggest high you could possibly get. When you walk out there, and if you're a babyface or a heel, which it doesn't matter, it's just so intense, just how the crowd is, actually taken to what you do. You know what I'm saying?
Right. No, that's good. That's why I've always kind of especially some of these, even some of the rookies, the first time they actually get one of these big matches, just the adrenaline. Like when it comes to say a Super Bowl or a World Series, it's a team event. You know what I'm saying? Everybody's out there working together. When it's wrestling, tag teams aside, when it's wrestling, it's you. So when that crowd either boos or they cheer you, that's for you. You know what I'm saying? That's a direct reflection of you. So, I mean, that's always kind of been a little Loki wish list of mine to, walk out and have that crowd just erupt when they say my name.
I'd like to see you headline a WrestleMania someday. That'd be great.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest with you. When I was we were in Australia and New Zealand, and honestly, that was the first time I ever wrestled in front of a crowd of that size of 55,000 because it filled the Olympic Stadium.
Right.
And I'm not going to lie to you, I turned to my partner, Anthony, and said, oh, my God, this is crazy.
That's awesome.
I had no idea. I mean, I was more or less in I couldn't kick back into character until I almost got into the ring. That's how wide-eyed I was at the time.
Right. So
I was still very, very, very green. You know what I mean?
So you're like a kid in a candy store that first opening, just like I would be, man. I would be bumping into people. I'd be giving everybody high fives. It'd probably take me about 15 minutes to get down to the ring. I'd be so fucking excited and bumping into people and being like, that's me, baby. That's fucking me.
Dude, besides the entrance, I mean, we had a match where Larry Sharp was our manager down there in Australia.
Wow.
Against the Guerrero brothers. And what happened was the whole one side of our ring where we were sitting collapsed. Ooh. Because at the time, Larry Sharp had some weight on him. We were all big guys, but the ring broke. So imagine what you're thinking, looking around at all these thousands of people. The ring broke. It's like, how do you stay in character? You know what I mean? It was insane.
That is absolutely insane. I'm glad you could bring people down the road for that. All right, so we're going to be breaking down WrestleMania.
Yep.
And we're going to start off with the matches. So how we're going to do it, just like you said, I'm going to give you the match, the headline, and you're going to start off. Then Pitbull's going to answer, and then I'll finish it up.
Okay.
All right.
Great way, by the way, Gary, if you don't know, today is our 1-year anniversary of the Loki and Jabroni show. The first ever episode was a WrestleMania preview. Today is our WrestleMania preview.
Congratulations, guys. That's great.
I'm excited,
Thank
man.
you, sir.
I'm excited. And, guys, just to give you a quick heads up, Pitbull #1 is down in Florida. They are having a really nasty storm. So if we do lose him, if he cuts it out, then that's what's going to be happening there. But we will be doing our best in the editing room to make sure you don't hear that.
That's why we pay the big bucks.
Here we go. The first match, well, not the first match on our list going up, will be the League of Nations, which, come on, what a stupid name. I'm sorry. The League of Nations versus New Day.
All right. As far as I'm concerned, and again, I've only been the last year coming back into watching the WWE product. I've always saw the New Day as baby faces. It's tough to boo them unless you're sitting in the crowd doing the New Day sucks bit. The League of Nations, to me, is a throwaway. Let's just put these 4 badasses together, and they might as well be the social outcasts. In my opinion, I don't have a whole lot to talk about as far as this match is concerned. I give it to the New Day if I'm booking the show, simply because they are moving forward. People love them. Why not give them a little boost going forward?
Pitbull.
Ooh, okay. I see what you're saying about the League of Nations. I get that. That sounds about correct. You got 4 guys that can all work pretty much, and they put them all in one group. The New Day, I'm not a fan, I'm going to be honest. Now, when the bigger guy in the New Day when he was wrestling singles, I thought that was a better gig for him. I don't know why they put these 3 guys together. But you're going 3 against 4. I'm going to go with the League of Nations. I'm not think they're going to take that.
All right.
You're talking about the big guy, and that is none other than
Rusev.
No. On New Day.
Oh, Big E.
Yeah, Big E. The problem I had with Big E and his singles career was he was as flat as Ryback. He would just come out here and Ryback would just say, "Feed me more," and that's how you get the crowd pumped up, and that's it. That was all he had. Big E's the same way. Now that he's in the New Day, and now that they kind of turn this into a, dare I say, Nation of Domination, yet a smaller version of it, but they are kind of bringing that New Day, Nation of Domination feel. The League of Nations is a freaking group of hack has-beens that'll never be anything bigger than a goddamn U.S. title champions. That's it. Who do you got? You got freaking Sheamus, which, he had he had the title handed to him. Let's be honest, all right? You have the English guy there, Wade Barrett. Yeah. Listen, when Wade Barrett came onto the scene, he was awesome. I totally had his back. You know why? Because he had talent. Mm-hmm. He still has talent. The problem is he's a turd. He is a turd out in the No, he is. He's a straight-up turd. And the other 2 guys,
Rusev and Del Rio.
And Rusev, listen, the only way he's ever popular is because of his freaking blondie there. That's it. That's the only reason that you can't give the guy a win. You cannot give Rusev a win. I'm sorry.
I'm not a fan of Rusev either, but I think he's solid.
New Day.
You got New Day?
I got New Day.
Okay. So we got New Day, Loki and Jabroni, Gary, League of Nations. Excellent.
All right. So speaking of no talent hacks,
here we go.
Ryback versus Kalisto
for
the U.S. title. Jabroni, and I'm going to go kill that fucking spider.
just in case he goes radioactive and becomes a superhero. I could say all the things in the world on the fan side about why Kalisto should win. I can say all the things I like about, what talent he brings to the table. But I'm going to look at this logically. You're building Ryback, finally building Ryback as a monster. You're finally giving this guy what he should have had 2 years ago. He is a monster. He should be a destroyer, and I am taking, against my better judgment, I'm taking Ryback to win the title.
Pitbull.
I'm gonna take that. I've been watching Ryback from the beginning. He couldn't cut a promo. He could not. It seemed to me he didn't have experience working in front of a camera. But after years of pushing him, finally, he's getting the push of his life right now, if you think about it. I say Ryback goes over, absolutely.
Okay. I got to make it a three-peat then. I'm going with Ryback. The reason being is, just like I said earlier, the guy had absolutely nothing going for me. Feed me more, feed me more. That was his gimmick. That was his image. And his freaking the shell shock.
Yeah.
Dude, get a new move. Please. Please. You just look like a really tall freaking tipping over John Cena. I don't like the shell shock. I really think for as big as he could be, he could pull off a massive power bomb or over the handle, pump handle slam. Mm-hmm. That would be a bad. You remember when what's his name used to do that on WCW? The underhook pump handle slam. The way he would come down with that force. I'm just saying,
Go ahead, Gary.
Oh, that's right. There's another one, too, that would be good for him. If you look at Ryback and look at my ex-partner who passed away, rest his soul, Pitbull, too, they look the same. It's like...
I'll buy that. I'll buy that. Yes.
But I would suggest him doing shoot the guy off the rope, press him over his head, hold him, and stick it right into not a shoulder breaker, but a power bomb right from that.
Wow.
He drops him from a press position right to his shoulder and bring him down for the power slam. I think that'd be an awesome finish for him.
Yeah, that would be
pretty badass.
That would be nice. That would be explosive. Absolutely.
But going back to your point, both of you guys, is all the bigger guys always had an impactful move. You had Goldberg with the spear and the jackhammer. The Pitbulls had the super bomb. All the big, rugged dudes had that impactful finisher. I don't think that shell shock used to be
even
a
Kane's
setup move.
choke slam, or even the big shows. If you went on the ride with the choke slam, that fucking ring would fucking rattle, dude.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
It was impactful. And the shell shock back when was a setup move for the Wild Samoans.
Yeah. The only thing I ever saw him do popular with that shell shock was put two people and then roll it. I got to give it to him, you know what I'm saying? But it's just a deadlift and you're falling back. There's nothing really big on that. Now, if you kind of threw a oomph into it, you know what I'm saying? He's done it a few times to lighter weights where he flings his back really hard and it really does look like he's going to do damage.
Do it to a guy who weighs 350
But I got to say, he needs a new move and it's got to be explosive. It's got to make people go, oh, you know what I'm saying?
No better platform to introduce a new impactful move than this Sunday at WrestleMania
with
against
the U.S. title. With the U.S. title on the line.
Right.
That's huge. That's huge. All right, so we got to...
It's going to be a very high-flying Ryback catching match. Put it that way.
Right. Exactly. I think we've seen it before. Dare I say, Rey Mysterio and Nash.
Yeah.
Rey Mysterio and the Big Show.
Billy Kidman and Hulk Hogan.
Yep, exactly. Who's that other? Juventud Guerrero versus fucking Goldberg.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's been done before. The idea is not to become too cliche and make this shit look new, fresh, and please, Ryback, just get a little something going.
If Ryback can find that one missing thing, which I really do think is that impactful finish, that's a gold standard. That's a superstar waiting to explode.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like you guys said, even me and my old lady would watch it sometimes, and we say to ourselves, why isn't this guy getting over? Why? What's going on? Eventually, we realized, it was him, and I guess the writers, but they've been pushing him. Right now he's got a guy in there, lightweight. He could do some kind of move that will blow people's minds.
My point exactly. Couldn't been some more well said from the Pitbull. I definitely agree. He needs something that's going to make people say, oh, my God. So here we go. The third match on this, I love these. I'm a sucker for these since the day Shawn Michaels and Razor Ramon introduced people to this incredible fucking style of a match, the ladder match. Come on, man. Are you insane? Not only is it a ladder match, it is a 6-man ladder match. We have Kevin Owens, Mr. Dolph Ziggler, as my partner likes to call him, Joe Ziggler. We have Sami
Zayn.
Yeah, Sami Zayn, Miz, Stardust, Sin Cara, Zack Ryder.
All right. The ladder match is great. I love watching ladder matches. I love on my little Xbox playing ladder matches. What I don't particularly like is when you throw 400 bodies into a ladder match. Because part of for me as a fan, to watch a ladder match is that struggle between 2 or maybe 3 guys trying to outwit the opponent, beat them down to the point where they can go up the ladder. Now you have 2 guys underneath that are trying to shake you off. What are there, 40 guys in this match? Count them off real quick. Owens, Ziggler,
6.
Zayn,
1, 2,
Miz,
3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh, my bad.
7 guys.
7.
Okay,
so I got to agree with that. Go ahead.
It's just, right now, to me, all the talent, that's a great talent if you did that as some sort of tournament. But to throw all of them in there in a ladder match on WrestleMania, it just seems like a throwaway. And I hate to say that because I like all those guys on that list. My heart and my fandom wants me to pick someone like Stardust or Zack Ryder. Being intelligent, trying to come up with a logical answer, it comes down to Kevin Owens and Dolph Ziggler, at which point I have to flip a coin. I give it to Kevin Owens, basically on just the strength of his push right now.
Pitbull.
Well, I'm hoping it's not a clusterfuck, to be honest with you. Okay? I mean, ladder matches ain't no joke. I mean, I've been in table ladders and chairs. And I mean, you got to remember, too, they're following Christian Edge, the Hardy Boys, Dudleys, back in the day. This is WrestleMania. I mean, these guys are going to have to really, really step it up. I'm looking at some incredible spots we're going to probably see out of this match. But I'm going to keep my ground, and I'm going to take Kevin Owens to keep the strap and continue pushing him.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Both of you guys bring up a very good point. This has been done before. Edge, Christian, the Dudley Boys. Ladders are so unpredictable. You can say all day, listen, I'm going to spear you from the top of this ladder, but as soon as you shift right, as soon as you shift left, and that ladder goes out from underneath you, you know what I'm saying?
You're talking about serious injury.
Exactly. You have 7 really good names on here. Are you wasting this match, number one? Because you do have so many good names in such a dangerous match.
I think you're going to see a lot of, like Gary said, you're going to see a lot of great spots. You're going to see a lot of great work.
But is there going to be too much?
The minute they drag that first ladder into the ring, I'm going to go with Gary. I hope it doesn't become a clusterfuck. I hope it doesn't become a car wreck.
That's what I'm afraid of. I really do think it's going to be a car wreck.
And I know they used to do before they made it its own show, they used to do Money in the Bank at WrestleMania and throw 6 guys in there. And it was a 15-minute, it was kind of like watching a video on fast forward. You really don't get what you're supposed to get out of it. If they cut it down to 3 guys and a ladder and a title, you have a fantastic show-stealing match. I like those. 7 guys in a ring with however many ladders they're going to throw out there.
It's a debacle.
Exactly. But who are you picking?
I'm going to go out of nowhere just because I just kind of see good things for him, and I really do hope that in the future holds a lot more than this. He's been really big on TV lately, and he's been doing a whole lot of craziness. Got to go with Stardust. I want Stardust to win this because that family deserves it, and he's been in the shadow for so long. They don't know how to take care of Cody Rhodes, and he finally has Stardust, and he plays it, dude. He is so believable. I love what he's doing with this character. He's probably not going to win, but I would like to see it happen.
What do you think of Stardust, Gary?
I love it. I love Stardust. I mean, he's Dusty Rhodes' son, number one. I mean, his brother's awesome. He's awesome. He finally got the gimmick down, just like you said. I mean, I used to see it and scratch my head and be like, okay, what do we got going on? But I figured they were going to tag the brothers up, which they did for a little bit. But I don't know. I mean, I think eventually one of them is going to get rid of the makeup and the gimmick and just come back out as the normal man, the common man.
The American dream.
American dream, man, and bring him back. I mean, everybody loved Dusty, and everybody misses him. It's just a matter of eventually, once one of their sons has it down to a T. I mean, look at Flair's kids. It took a while. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Nobody would have thought Charlotte would have became the wrestler.
No.
No, I agree with that. I agree with that. But no, that's a good point, man. I mean, I love Rick, and I'm so sad about his one son. But, we always thought the other son was going to bring, the second generation in. Nobody had a clue that Charlotte, his little daughter that I met when she was a baby, would become the female diva champion now. You see? Mm-hmm. Yes.
And she is fantastic. You're right, though. Everybody thought Reed Flair, God rest his soul, was going to be the next Ric Flair. I've seen him on an independent show. He was fantastic. Unfortunately, his demons got to him. I didn't see Charlotte coming. I didn't. When I heard she went into training and she signed the developmental deal.
Hold on. Can I just ask you this? Was
Go
it
ahead.
his demons that got to him, or was it his father's demons that got to him? Because I bring up this point, and it's funny because somebody actually posted on my thing just recently that Brandon Lee. Let me just.
I'm listening.
Put this into your brain. Brandon Lee died 23 years ago.
Yeah.
23 years ago to the day, and a lot of people said the same thing. Oh, his life was cut tragic. His life was cut blah blah blah, and he died because of his demon. No. I truly believe the demons of his father cranked over to his son, and his son paid the price.
I'm going to disagree, and then I'm going to ask Gary what he thinks, only because of this. When you hear Ric Flair, who has the Woo Nation podcast on CBS.
Now, keep that. Ric Flair is your dad.
Okay.
Bruce Lee is your dad.
All right. Sometimes the shadow of the father falls large and falls heavy. You hear stories of Ric Flair up all night, drank until 4 a.m, gets an hour and a half sleep, gets up, does it all over again. Do I think that carried over? Possibly. You have big shoes to fill. But there were certain things that Ric Flair didn't do that unfortunately Reed did do. Don't want to tarnish his memory any. Reed had his own demons to battle, and it's tragic. No matter how you look at it, that kid had a world of potential. Gary, I'd like to hear what you think.
I've been out with Rick till 4 or 5 in the morning. Okay, I've been there, seen it, done it. You know what I mean? Rick had a limit. I mean, yeah, Rick would drink and have a good time. I mean, I don't know what Reed was doing. I don't even know. Now that I'm sitting here, I don't realize what happened exactly. I just know they found him in a hotel, but. There's I mean, of course, there's a lot of pressure going on him because his father's Ric Flair. But then again, that pressure could be good because obviously that opened doors for him.
Well, for him it was good, or for his daughter it was good because she used it. But for him,
he was trying to make his own way. And yes, he used the name Reed Flair, which doesn't hurt to have Flair as your last name. But his style was different. His approach was different.
Yes.
His look was different. He went in as bare basic as
but
you can get. No flashy ropes.
Say you come into I don't care, Connecticut, Hartford, Connecticut, and you're the jet plane riding, fuel flying, party up all woo woo, fucking the son of the biggest motherfucker party in the world. You can't let that down. So when somebody comes up and goes, Reed, yo, come on out, man. Just like your old man. You got to see how your old man used to party.
All right. I'll go 50-50 on that. Next match.
So we have.
All right.
This is the one that we brought up earlier on our intro. Two guys who from two different organizations that essentially did the exact same thing, and they owned it. Mm-hmm. They were never what you considered main headliners, and they always battled against the headliners, and they always made themselves known, and they always put a smile on your face at the end of one of their shows. Chris Jericho versus AJ Styles. What do you got?
Okay. I've had a few weeks ago, as everybody knows, we had Mike Riccardi, Station Nightclub Survivor, talking about his book, and we asked him that same question about Jericho and Styles. Both guys are on my top 10 list of all time. Both guys came up hard, came up strong. Sometimes they were viewed as too little, too weak, not big enough to carry the show, and they eventually do come up, and they both did carry the show. Jericho in WWE, AJ in TNA. They have a very similar style. They have a very similar drive. Both of them don't accept second best. And I'm not saying that any wrestler or performer accepts second best, but these guys were not happy. Well, I've gotten to here, and I'm making a butt ton of money. I'm kind of going to relax. Neither of those guys. Jericho's 45 years old, and Pitbull, I know you're not too far past that. And that's that drive. That's why I dig Jericho. It's why I dig Gary and in the Pitbulls then and Gary now. It's why I dig some of the guys that are in their 40s. You can say what you want about Triple H, and we're going to talk about him later. At 46, he can still deliver a banging show. This is a match I'm having problems with because of how much I dig both of those guys. Here's where I'm going to go sideways. Was it last year? We had Sting and Triple H at WrestleMania.
I want to talk about it.
I know you've said your piece many times on this show and privately. They did Sting wrong. This is where they make up for it. You give them 20 minutes to 25 minutes because if you gave them 45, everybody's going to shit on the rest of the show. And they could go 45. They could go an hour if they wanted to. Nuts. If I'm forced to make a pick, I'm picking AJ Styles. They finally do right by the mistake of last year, having Sting get jobbed out. I want AJ to go over not only because he's awesome, because I met him years ago at the Ring of Honor show when I was working for WrestlingOnline.com, and he's one of the nicest and sweetest human beings I've ever met. I think AJ can carry that company over the next 5 years, especially with the rash of injuries that are going on where you're not having Randy Orton, where you're not having John Cena, where you're without Alberto Del Rio for 3, 4, 5 months. This is a guy who can pick up the slack for everyone that, unfortunately, it's not their fault. They did get hurt. AJ's a guy you can use to carry it in their absence. I'm picking AJ Styles.
Pitbull.
Absolutely. I mean, I worked with Chris Jericho. He was in ECW with me. We were in Japan together. It's time now. Jericho, Chris has a chance now to pass the torch. And AJ deserves it. Believe me, he deserves it. He's there now. And I'm surprised he wasn't in WWF 5, 6 years, 7 years ago. But they wanted to keep him out. Now look what happened. They need him so bad now, it's not even funny. So I'm going to go with AJ Styles on that one.
Before you make your... Well, go ahead, Gary.
It should be a fantastic match. I mean, he said it. They can go an hour easily, these two guys. That's how much they have in their arsenal. So I expect who's ever the match after them, I wouldn't want to be in that position. Put it that way.
Before Mike makes his pick, I got 2 real quick questions in regard to Chris Jericho, and actually 1 question, 1 comment. If they tear the house down, is whatever match that follows them the popcorn match?
You're asking me that?
I'm asking you that.
Yeah, they would have to put a different match after them. That's not because they're going to be so up after that match with Jericho and AJ that they're going to have to bring them back down.
Okay.
So then they can bring them back up again. That's the only thing I can think of, because if they keep that match and then they go with a high pressing match after that, it's just going to, like ECW was, we would sit there and watch the monitors just so we knew we had to do better than they did.
That's what I loved about ECW all those years, is that you never left your seat. Ever. So the question I had was, you brought up how Jericho can elevate AJ. He tried that a few years ago when he dropped the match to Fandango at WrestleMania, and Fandango is, I think, now carrying somebody's bags, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, but Fandango ain't no AJ Styles.
Good point.
Fandango couldn't keep it going, where AJ has only showed us a glimmer of what he can do. I mean, you got to remember, he's been in that style, and I know the style. I mean, especially the Japan style that he's in. I was supposed to wrestle him in TNA. They flew me down to work against him. When I got there, they told me, "Oh, it's changed. you got to wrestle Brian Lee. And I'm like, why? And this is when AJ was young. And they're like, oh, you're not sure. Who knows? The office could have been bullshitting me. You know what I mean? But he's not sure if he could put you in his finish. And I'm like, dude, I could, there's no problem. You know what I'm saying? So it never worked out. And I'm actually pissed about it because I would have loved to work against him just to see his style. And I love the way he works. But, yeah, I got to go with him taking the win, and he's going to further that. And they're going to start pushing him, and they got to start. I mean, they could throw a strap on him once, and then after that, he won't even need a belt, and that's how over he'll be.
Wow. All right, Loki, you're up.
So, I agree. Everything you guys have said, it's going to be insane. It's going to be great. I mean, you're talking about two guys that pretty much revolutionized wrestling in their own way to fit their style. And some of the things that they came up with, the lion salt, the freaking lion tamer. AJ Styles is a household name. You cannot mention AJ Styles and not have not a single person in that room go, who's that?
Even the most out-of-the-loop wrestling fan
will know
AJ Styles.
The name AJ Styles. Here's my problem with this. Now, you said this is the time they can do the wrong that they did with Sting.
They can make up for it, yes.
Notice how Triple H has nothing to do with this. Triple H is not sacrificing a single drop of sweat to make sure that Sting is done right and AJ is done right. Who's making the sacrifice right now?
You're asking me that question.
Yeah.
Jericho.
Of course Jericho's making the fucking sacrifice for this.
Look, to stop what you're saying, Jericho is 50 times the worker that Triple H is as far as diversity.
Which is why it's so believable. But once again, Triple H weasels his way out, and he's going to look like a hero because AJ, because I'm picking it. I'm already picking AJ.
All right, I'm writing that down.
You know what I'm saying? But the reason is he's going to push him over to let him come into the WWE. We just pretty much took Sting in and we said, Sting, you're great. Let me shit on you. And then we're going to throw you in a match and get your brains beat out and then cause you to fucking retire.
I have that thought, and I will express it when we get to Triple H's match as to why he's doing what he's doing. And that's where I'm going to leave that particular comment because I think there's a bigger plan involved. And I'm sure each one of you gentlemen will agree when I say what I have to say come the Triple H match.
Absolutely.
But I get what you're saying.
Okay, so you guys we all agree. The match is going to get so freaking high that you got to drop it down. So how do you drop it down? You bring out the Divas Championship.
But they're hot right now. That's the hottest thing they've got going is that Diva Revolution.
Is that the hottest thing that they got going right now?
Those are some of the best matches every Monday night.
Or is it their new little, sub TV show that they have on that network?
All right, read off the match, and I will get
Charlotte versus Becky Lynch versus Sasha Banks for the Diva Championship. First of all, can I just say Sasha has no right being there? Go ahead.
I disagree. I think each one of those ladies has the right to be there.
Faith? Where's Faith? Where is Faith?
I would have thrown
Faith deserves more than Sasha. Sorry.
I would have thrown one more name into that match and made it a four-way. I would have thrown Bayley from NXT into that match. I think each one of those ladies brings something special to the table every Monday night when I watch Raw. I look forward since the Royal Rumble, I look forward to three things. I look forward to seeing AJ Styles. I look forward to seeing the Divas, and I look forward to where they're pushing, and we'll get to him later, how they're working on making Roman Reigns the name. So, of those three things, now we have this match where I'm genuinely excited to see this three-way. Again, I'd love to throw Bayley in there from NXT, but you have to bring them up different. If you're asking me who is going to win this match and why, from a booking standpoint, my pick is going to be Charlotte to go over, but again, I'll go back to the fan in me. There's one name in that match that trumps Charlotte as charismatic. There's one that trumps Sasha in as far as ability. I would love to see Becky Lynch walk away from that match with that Diva Championship around her waist And the reason I say that is because her talent is so above and beyond. Charlotte's 2 years in. Sasha, I think, is 4 or 5 years in. Becky's been doing this for 10 years. She's got a bigger moveset. I think Becky Lynch is the girl that should take this match. But if I'm picking logically and trying to get, the most picks that I can right, I'm picking Charlotte to go over. Pitbull, you're up.
That's going to be a great match. I mean, hopefully these girls know how to work a three-way match. I'm hoping that. Because honestly, they've been taking over the TV besides AJ and a couple other guys. That girl from NXT that you mentioned, it would be a phenomenal thing to have her do a run-in to break her into that fucking next level to get in WWE Raw, and get out of NXT. But I got to take Charlotte for the win. You got Ric Flair in her corner. But I expect to see some swerving going around in that match. It's not going to – I don't think it's going to be a clean 1, 2, 3. Could be a fuck finish. The Becky girl you were talking about, the red hair.
Mm-hmm. Becky Lynch.
She's an unbelievable worker, and she does deserve to have the strap. I mean, that goes without say. But even if she goes over on Charlotte, Charlotte will take it Monday right back. You know that.
Yeah, it's unfortunate the hot shot booking that they do.
Yeah, so I mean, I would like to see Becky win too, but I think they're going to push, the Flair and make sure she has a straight out win.
All right, so Gary's taking Charlotte as well. Mike, you're up.
I got to close up the Charlotte thing. I didn't care who was actually in the match because they're going to, Charlotte's going to, she's going to keep it. There's no way around it. I'm sorry. I just, my big thing, like I said, is I really felt like Faith should have been a big part of this. Like, I know she's, had her ups and downs, but talent-wise.
Are you speaking of
Paige, my bad.
Okay.
Why did I say Faith? Talent-wise, dude, she's it. Like, she's got it. Like,
I got a problem with Paige. And it seems to go in 3-week intervals. For 3 weeks, she's the most hated lady on television. And then for 3 weeks, she's the most popular lady on television. And they keep switching her back and forth. And it's just terrible booking because if you're a villain, you should be a villain for a long time. You should be a heel for a long time and make people hate you to the point where they buy a ticket to see you get your ass whipped. And I don't think they're doing that right with her.
Right. Well, that's just it. That other
I don't
TV
think
show.
They know. I'm sorry, I have to say this real quick, but I don't think they know what to do with her.
I agree.
You're probably right. Well, like I said, that other TV show fucks with it. You know what I'm saying? What is it?
That stupid
Total
Divas.
Bullshit? Yeah, something Divas.
Let's watch everybody put on their makeup and pick up guys.
Yeah, exactly.
Stupid.
And the shitty part is, like when you mix shows like that, when you put shows like that together, it doesn't do anything. You know what I'm saying? Like it fucks with where they come from.
I got a great point on that. Is however many years ago, Gary, you talked about it last time you were on. They did that Secrets of Professional Wrestling. It's a one-time deal. It's one time, and you watch it, and you get a little peek behind the curtain, but you don't get to see all of the magic. Mm-hmm. Every time, and I've watched that Diva show one time out of curiosity, and all it's doing is ripping the curtain back. It's showing two young ladies who are supposed to be in a blood-hatred rivalry on television having coffee together and getting their toes painted together. It kills the credibility of what's going on when they're asking you to pay either $9.99 a month for the network or $59.99 for the pay-per-view. It's killing what you're trying to give to the people week after week. Gary, what do you think?
Well, honestly, guys, I'll say it one time. That show ruined it. There's no more kayfabe in wrestling anymore today. They're bringing these fans into the locker room, which is supposed to be kayfabe. They're not supposed to be in there. They're not supposed to be see what's going on behind the scenes, And then you got guys going against each other. Of course, like you said, they're sitting there having lunch with each other, and they're supposed to want to kill each other.
Right.
So I go to Puerto Rico, we don't even talk to each other. So it's like the kayfabe is like it's like everything that Vince tried to keep in control of his hands he literally just let it go for the ratings and money, whatever they're making on that Diva show.
It's ridiculous. Let me ask you a quick question because, again, you did the Pro Wrestling Secrets Exposed. You've been in locker rooms all over this world. Was there in ECW, did Paul Heyman have a no-travel rule where, say, the Pitbulls are going against the Eliminators? Could you and Perry not ride in a car together? Was there a point in time where Anthony and Cronus couldn't be seen in a bar together? Did Paul have a rule like that?
No, it was common sense. We
Excellent.
knew that.
Excellent.
I mean, I'm not going to be pulling up to an arena, figure us and the Samoans, and we're working the Samoans that night. Mm-hmm. We would get our ass reamed out. Well, There's no way.
I'm never going to have Paul Heyman on the phone, but I want to tell this story from November to Remember 98 from the Golden Dome in Monaca, Pennsylvania. I think we talked about it last time you were here. We showed up 10 hours early driving from Connecticut to Beaver, Pennsylvania. We're cruising the mall, and we saw Stevie Richards out and about, and he wasn't booked on the show. He did a special run-in that night to reintroduce himself, and he basically stood there and told us the entire storyline of what he was doing that night. And to me, that killed the excitement. Stevie, I think at the time, lived in Pennsylvania, so wouldn't be strange to see Stevie walking around a mall.
Yeah.
Even on the day of an ECW show.
Right.
But the problem, when we approach him and say, what do you think of the show tonight? Well, guys, I'm going to be doing this, and don't tell anybody. And we didn't. We kept it quiet. But knowing that he was going to run in and reintroduce himself to ECW, that killed it for me. It was like finding out, for an 8-year-old that Santa Claus isn't real. It just ruined the show for me.
I guess Stevie was being a little bit of a mark, at that time.
I wouldn't doubt it. I know over the years he's matured. I've talked to him a couple years ago, but I mean, at that time in 1998, when the curtain hadn't quite been pulled back as far as it did, to stand there and tell 4 jamokes from Connecticut exactly what they're going to see in 6-7 hours, again, I don't want to watch. I went and saw Batman Superman last night, and if I'd have heard a spoiler, I wouldn't have enjoyed it. I heard a spoiler that day in Pennsylvania. It killed, as good as that show was, and I've watched it back a couple times, it killed that entire show for me.
Right.
What do we got coming up?
That's a shame.
All right. No, I agree. Like I said, I don't agree with this Total Diva shit. I think it's and the fact that you got John Cena out there, and then you got Roman Reigns and all these other guys.
Daniel Bryan.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, you see the soft tender side. I don't want to see the fucking soft tender side of my fucking wrestlers.
Listen, go whip ass. Look, if I didn't know Gary 15 years ago, I wouldn't want to know what he's like at home. And I get to see on Facebook. And by the way, say hi to your lady for me. She loves all the pictures of my daughter. I wouldn't want to know what Gary's like at home. I just want to see the pit bull with the chain and the super bomb and the blood and the guts.
Exactly.
I don't want to know that he plays with his dog in the pool. That kills it.
Exactly. So, to follow up that, what they're going to do is they're going to go from the Jericho AJ Styles to the Diva Championship, and then we're going to.
I don't know how they're going to place them, but this is the rundown they gave me online.
Right. So here's how it's going to rock down. Well, I think they're going to probably end up doing it like that. I really do think, because the world title is always going to be the last one.
Yep.
Undertaker's going to be the one before that. The one that you just, I think you pretty much banged it, to be honest with you. It's going to be Brock Lesnar versus Dean Ambrose in a street fight.
Okay. The fan, if I'm just blind and I don't have half a mind, I see Brock going out there and just absolutely decimating Dean Ambrose and winning. But I'm a guy that thinks outside the box, and I know they're trying to bring Finn Balor up to the main roster. Dean Ambrose is a guy that can work his ass off and is always entertaining. I didn't like Dean Ambrose in The Shield. He seemed kind of vanilla. He seemed kind of, white paper. And now you're getting to see he has this other side, and it's not only entertaining in the ring, but it's entertaining when he grabs a microphone. It's entertaining with his facial features, which you didn't really see with The Shield. I think this is a perfect opportunity to have someone like a Finn Balor or any of the guys they've signed recently to make their name and not ruin Dean's name. I am going to go out on a limb. I am picking Dean Ambrose, and I'm going to throw a little caveat on this. I'm saying Dean Ambrose wins with help from Finn Balor, and they're going to introduce the Balor Club to Monday Night Raw, the WWE main roster, and you're going to see what I've known for a couple years now, that Finn Balor is going to be right up there with AJ Styles as guys that can carry this company. That's my pick. Dean Ambrose with help from Finn Balor.
Pipple.
Okay, that's interesting. So you think he's going to do a run-in in the, what's they used to be called, the Bullet Club?
The Bullet Club out of Japan, yes.
Yeah. Well, I normally would have said that Brock would go over, but would let Dean look like Superman. This way it wouldn't hurt him even if he lost against Brock. But if you're thinking that they're going to do a run-in, I'm still going to take Brock Lesnar. I can't see anybody leaving Brock Lesnar flat in the ring. And I think that might even hurt the show, having all them guys come in and just jumping on him.
Even if it wasn't all the guys, just Balor himself.
I got to go. I think Brock would beat both of them.
Okay.
You know what I mean? I just think they're going to put Brock over, but they're going to make Dean look like Superman. So even though he loses, it's not going to make a difference. He's still going to look better than he is now and have more, over. Because the way, I don't know if you guys realize it, but the way I look at it, they're making him a new Pillman. He's the new Pillman.
Yes. No, absolutely.
Okay, so I mean, even if he's dead, bloody mess, which he should be, blood everywhere in this match. Even if he loses and he can grab the mic and be like, I'm not, I want more or whatever. As long as he stays strong, even though he loses, it's not going to make a difference, I don't think. So I'm going with Brock.
I like your point. I really do. I think that's a really good side of it. I don't know what the fuck Dean Ambrose is smoking to even step in the ring with fucking Brock Lesnar. And then put it on a street fight. Brock Lesnar has eaten a fucking pedigree onto stairs. He has physically eaten stairs. He has getting punched in the face with I mean, there is nothing that Brock Lesnar has not taken and actually physically gotten up from. I mean, this guy is a fucking bruiser. And let's not mention, we brought up age a lot in this. Brock is still very, very young.
38, 39 years
exactly.
old.
He is right at that cusp where he is just all strength and just about that spring,
He's also got legitimacy.
That's his prime.
Yeah.
Right now.
Exactly.
He's also got the legitimacy of leaving at a semi-young age, trying out for the NFL. That didn't work out. I'm going to go to the UFC. Became the champion of UFC. Had some knockdown dragouts with guys like Randy Couture, Frank Mir, some of the bigger names you're ever going to hear. Hall of Fame names in the UFC. And then he comes back to professional wrestling. If you're just a fly-by-night fan who watches wrestling and doesn't, scour the internet like some of these fanboys do, and you just see Brock Lesnar, former UFC champion, who legitimately takes his fist and drives it through somebody's skull to try to win a match in a cage, you don't put anybody in the ring with Brock Lesnar and give him a chance. That legitimacy takes him far.
I still, like I said, Brock all day. Mm-hmm. And if, and I'm going to throw a big if on this, if Finn decides that he's going to come interfere with this match, I got 3 words for him. Go to sleep.
Ooh.
Because CM Punk was just released from MMA
Is that
fighting.
Legitimate?
That is legit. He has been released. This is a guy who all he knows how to do is fight. What else is he? He's Paul Heyman's man. So if you want to bring Mr. CM Punk back, you bring him back on WrestleMania and you have him either A, protect Brock Lesnar, or B, make this last match, which obviously has the man we're talking about, Triple H. Mm-hmm. Make him make a huge spot on that one.
Wow.
So I'm going with Brock on that one, but if we do go that other way, you say where Finn's coming in, Finn's getting to go to sleep. We have Undertaker. Go ahead.
If CM Punk shows his face there, as a fan, I would be sickened. Okay? He goes to the UFC, doesn't even have a fight. Okay? Leaves Vince McMahon, goes to UFC, think he's a tough guy. His gimmick the whole time he worked the whole world. Okay, back in the day when I was in ECW, he used to work for Combat Zone or one of them companies, Ring of Honor. I would see them guys around here and there. You know, he's in the corner moving his arms like Silva, you know, warming up his wrists. It was the biggest work in the world, I personally think. Drug-free on his hands. Get the hell out of here, man. I mean, if people would come back, I would be like, I'd start throwing things at him. If I was a fan, I'd be like, why is this bum back? He went to UFC, never accomplished anything except he won one fight during his practice and training sessions. Out of 10 fights, he only won one. And the man never made it to the octagon so everybody could see what supposedly he could do. That's ridiculous, man. And if he does come back, he's going to probably come back for a quarter of the pay he was making before.
I agree with Gary. I 100% agree with the Pitbull.
I don't think there's a person in this room and on that telephone right now that believed he could do anything in the UFC at all.
Against a lower level guy, I wouldn't look.
Not even against a lower level guy. You're talking about a guy who just like you said, his entire image is this badassery, is just being the best in the world. And when he was in the WWE, it was believable because the way that he could actually pull off some of the matches.
You have someone that can feed that to you and make you look like $1 million.
Exactly.
When you're in the octagon, and Tugman will tell you this, and Diekman will tell you this, and Brennan Ward will tell you this, it's just you. He's not feeding you anything except fists to your mouth.
But my point is this: there is nothing left for him. There is nothing. AJ Styles took his spot. He's gone.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
You'll never see CM Punk on a WWE show again.
So Undertaker versus Shane McMahon, Hell in a Cell.
If Shane wins, he gets control of Monday Night Raw. All right, the stigma of the streak is over. Let's start there. This fantastic, and it was a fantastic streak. I think of those 21 wins straight in a row, he missed 2 WrestleManias. So 21 wins in 23 years at the biggest show that the WWE puts on every year is pretty fantastic, regardless of how they book it. That was what you looked forward to, was seeing The Undertaker. Is he going to win? Is he going to lose? What's this guy bringing to the table? With the exception of his match against Giant Gonzalez 800 years ago, you walked in wondering, is this the guy that's going to beat The Undertaker? Now you have Shane McMahon, and we talked about it in the open. Undertaker's 54, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, sounds about right.
Shane is 46. So you're talking about 2 guys a little more advanced in age than you probably want having a big-time match, but that can still deliver. And that's the point. If you're in your 40s or in your 50s, Undertaker, Sting, Flair, Michaels, Shane McMahon, whomever, you could be in an advanced age to most of the world and still deliver a 4 or 5 star match.
Yes.
Again, we'll go back to the rumors. And one of the big rumors is Goldberg wants to be at WrestleMania. I am picking Shane McMahon. And going back to the same reason I said about Dean, WrestleMania is where people debut, people return, Impact. That in big letters. No offense to the TNA folks, but WrestleMania is Impact. And when you deliver something that is so outrageous, the return of the Ultimate Warrior at WrestleMania 8, I believe it was, Impact. The debut of certain guys at WrestleMania, Impact. I think if capital I, capital F, there is any way to bring somebody up or bring somebody back, whether it's Goldberg or whomever, Shane needs that help to win this match. There's no way that the high-flying guy whose only clean win in his 10-year career was against X-Pac, the way they booked him, I'm not saying toughness or anything. What I'm saying is if Shane McMahon is to be believable taking this match, there's going to be someone to help him. I'm not saying who. I hope for whatever reason, Shane can go over clean. I don't know how they would book that, but my pick is Shane McMahon out the door.
Pitbull, what do you got?
Well, yeah, if there's going to be a run-in on this show, that match is the match due to the fact that it is a McMahon that's going against the Taker. And don't get me wrong, Shane deserves this match now. He's not a little kid no more. I mean, he's been training his ass off for this. And I'm sure a lot of the stuff he's saying is coming from the heart. He's sitting home watching this show, and he's sick. It looks horrible. Some of the show does. I mean, you got to admit it.
Absolutely.
I think Shane goes over. I don't think The Undertaker will have a problem with it. And I hope that by doing this is going to make Vince start the Attitude Era all over again.
Before you get to your pick, Mike, there was one thing in my head that I was thinking all week leading up to this match, is that Undertaker just absolutely beats the ever-loving piss out of Shane the whole match. He's doing his job. He gets to this one point where Shane just absolutely can't go on anymore. Undertaker lies down. Undertaker drags Shane on top of him. Shane gets the 1, 2, 3. Undertaker stands up, fresh as sunshine, gives the big middle finger to Vince McMahon. You used me as your pawn. Go fuck yourself. This is what I just did to you. Eat my ass. Yeah. Shane controls Raw. Thank you, Gary.
You could do the Kevin Nash finger poke.
You could.
You could absolutely do that.
I don't think they want to ever relive that.
No. There's no doubt in my mind Shane McMahon's winning this, and I do believe, like I heard, the rumors of Goldberg around there, it's too much. I think Shane is going to give his all. I think it's not going to be enough. I think The Undertaker, as much as I would like to see that happen, I think The Undertaker's still a yes man. I think if the paycheck's good, he'll do anything that you want him to.
Look,
you know what I'm saying?
I don't want to.
The only way The Undertaker is going to get beat is if somebody comes in there and interferes.
I don't want to go too deep, but Undertaker is one of the guys that when you think of WWE, that is like, if not the first name, it's the third name, it's the second name. He is what this business is.
Mm-hmm.
I think he wants to do the right thing for the business, and if the story's right, he'll do anything. I mean, hell, didn't he get jumped at the Royal Rumble back in 1862 by 10 guys stuffed in a casket and all that mess in a match he shouldn't have lost in the first place?
Mm-hmm.
I think it was Yokozuna was the match. So, okay. No offense to Yokozuna, but The Undertaker's the bomb. Yokozuna is a couple
like
of notches below.
Still a yes man, dude. He will take anything.
He'll
for
do
a
what it
paycheck.
takes to make the show better. He'll do what it takes to make the company better. I agree.
He's a company man. Mark is a company man.
Yes, and he does a great job at it.
Okay, so we are to the main event. Mr. Triple H versus Roman Reigns, world title match, no disqualification.
Which was just added recently.
Yeah, the no disqualification. And that's where I think, that's what scares me about the whole Goldberg rumor.
Okay.
Is because the no disqualification, Triple H, go.
Okay. Earlier, I had mentioned about Roman Reigns. A year and 3 months ago, I'm sitting on your couch, Loki. We're watching the Royal Rumble. Roman Reigns wins the whole thing. The crowd is booing him out of the building. They send The Rock out to try to quell it and say, look, this is the guy. I endorse this guy. And the boos get louder. They've spent 15 months trying to make this guy the guy. They're trying to make him John Cena. They're trying to make him Hulk Hogan. They're trying to make him Stone Cold, Bret Hart, Shawn Michaels, the guy that can carry the company. That's their chosen guy. I think the whole reason for Triple H winning the title and now moving forward into this WrestleMania is Triple H is, I said this earlier, if you're going to be a villain, don't be a villain for 3 weeks. Be a villain for 2 years. Be a villain for 5 years. Be a villain your entire career. But you have to have someone that you hate more than the guy fighting him. There were a million matches I went to see as a kid, and I was a huge fan of Magnificent Morocco. Loved him. I don't care if he fought my father. I would pick Magnificent Morocco.
Mm-hmm.
That's a heel you kind of liked. Triple H is not the kind of heel you like. He just pisses you off. And that whole authority business, that works into this match's favor. People don't want to see Triple H as champion. People don't want to see the authority as the be-all, end-all. You have now what you should have had 15 months ago if you want to make Roman Reigns the man. You have just that one guy you hate enough that you can get behind Roman Reigns and make him, in big-ass capital flashing kiss light letters, the man. against my better judgment because I'm not a big fan of his. I love his work, but I think he, like Gary said earlier about somebody else, he needs to work. I think it was Ryback. He needs to work on talking. He needs to work on promos. He needs to work on facial expressions. If they're going to make Roman Reigns the man, this is the perfect vehicle to do it. My pick right now, Roman Reigns takes the title and closes WrestleMania in a sea of confetti.
Pitbull.
Yeah, I mean, in fact, that's how you would want to do it. You always want to leave the people happy. But the way I look at it, the whole show's set up. If Shane goes over, Triple H has to go over.
Ooh.
Because then you got a conflict. Shane McMahon is now in charge of Raw, but Triple H is the champ.
Never even thought about that.
So what are you going to do then?
Ooh.
Roman is not quite there yet. He just got back from an injury. I think that Triple H is going to go over, make Roman look good, don't get me wrong, and then they're going to work on building that. Like I said, if Shane goes over and takes over Raw, look at that storyline you have there. Okay, I'm in charge of Raw, but the Authority, they still have the title.
Wow. And that's the reason we brought Gary on.
Mm-hmm.
That's something I didn't even see coming a million miles away. So are you saying, Gary, that Triple H is going over in this match?
Yes, I am.
All right, I'm writing it down now.
Michael? Here's my problem. The new Aquaman, anyone?
Oh, God.
You know who likes fucking Roman Reigns?
Aquaman.
Women and children. That's it, dude. Nobody else likes this fucking guy. When will they see this shit? I'm sorry, man. And you can hate on me all you want with your fucking super punch, dude. You are not ready. You are not worthy. You should still be carrying your cousin's boots is what should be going on. Triple H is not only going to have the best entrance of the night, he's going to wax the floor and make an example of this kid.
I'm going to, before I even write this down, I'm guessing you're going with Triple H.
Yeah. No, that's,
all
right. I can't buy Roman Reigns. I can't. I'm sorry. You just throw this big burly guy at me and he just has these, he just looks like this huge Samoa and I'm just supposed to like him. No, it's the same thing with The Rock. When Rocky Maivia first came out and he's all smiles
People
and
hated him.
And he's wearing his shit and he's dancing around, we're like, who the fuck are you? This is Rocky Maivia's. I don't give a fuck whose fucking dad this guy is. Dude, you gotta work. You can't just come out here and start flashing this little smile and act like you fucking big guy and I gotta buy this bullshit. No, dude, I do not have to. I'm sorry. Triple H, as much as he is, like you said, one of the biggest villains right now, the ultimate desire of the company and is in his mind. And just like Pitbull saw that, I guarantee you they saw it too. Shane wins, Triple H wins, and you definitely have that family deal.
So let's recap real quick. Starting at the bottom, we had League of Nations versus New Day. Gary picked the League of Nations. Loki and Jabroni took the New Day. Kalisto versus Ryback for the U.S. title. It was a three-way dance. We all picked Ryback.
Yep.
Kevin Owens, Dolph Ziggler, and the other 82 guys in the ladder match for the IC title, praying it's not a car wreck. Gary took Kevin Owens. I took Kevin Owens. Loki, you took Stardust.
Got Stardust.
Chris Jericho versus AJ Styles, another three-way matchup that we all picked the same. I really should stop saying three-way matchup because I'm diluting it.
Yep.
Charlotte, Becky Lynch, and Sasha Banks, we all went the same way. We all went Charlotte.
The Nature Woman.
The Nature Woman, great. They should do that. Brock Lesnar versus Dean Ambrose. Gary and Loki both took Brock Lesnar. I took Dean Ambrose. Undertaker versus Shane in the Hell in the Cell. All three of us agree we're taking Shane McMahon.
Just how he does it is...
That's going to be the key.
Exactly.
And in the main event of the evening, Triple H versus Roman Reigns. World title, no DQ. Triple H has been picked by Pitbull and Loki. I went the other way with Roman Reigns. So, any last thoughts, Gary, before we let you go?
Well, like I said, if Hell in a Cell match is reversed, I expect Roman Reigns to be over.
Yes.
Didn't see that coming for a million years.
I can see that too. I absolutely agree.
That's fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
Once again, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for being here. Gary Pitbull, #1 Wolf, with your expert WrestleMania predictions. We look forward to talking to you again in the future.
Just the ambiance of actually being there and giving us the feel of how it would be. You know, that's always, and it's always a pleasure having you on the show, man. We love having you on the show.
I appreciate it, guys, and thanks for having me on. Anybody that's looking out and want to check my Facebook out, go to my site. It's under Gary Wolfe. Check it out. Give me a plug, brother. All right, boys.
Hey, we plug you every chance we get. Thanks again, Gary. We'll talk to you soon.
Have a great day, brother.
You too, guys.
Always a pleasure, man. Always a pleasure having him on the phone. Man.
Always honest, as long as the day is. That guy is fantastic.
Absolutely.
Wow. So before we get into too much of our gimmickry here, I just want to say that if any of you are watching WrestleMania tomorrow, I believe we're going to have 2 ways for you to see all the alcohol-fueled brutality that's going to go on here at the Valhalla Entertainment Complex. One way is through YouTube. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, Senor Eddie Focus, the executive producer of the #1 podcast that you should tell your friends about, is hooking up a camera. We're going to turn down the commentary, at least in one room. I think you're going to have this on 2 TVs. Mm-hmm. So if people want to hear JBL and all that other bullshit, go up to one room, see it there. If you want to hear Loki and Jabroni give their expert opinions, and I say expert very loosely, watch the YouTube feed. The second way to do it is intermittently, I'm going to have it from the Loki and Jabroni show page, Facebook Live. We'll give you little look-ins, little mini interviews with some of the people that are here. We're going to have fun with it. Your questions are important. If you have a question, if you want to know, if you haven't listened to the show and you want to know who we think is going to do well in this match, that match, whatever, send the question into Facebook Live. Put the question up on YouTube. We will have a laptop available to see the questions as they come up, and we will answer them on each of those feeds. And I think Loki's going to have a lot to say tomorrow. Absolutely, man. I'm going to have. I've already. You saw me go crazy on this shit, man. I was having. In peace. You always have great things to say during the wrestling matches. I have to say that. I appreciate it. Always. And I'm usually like this. What? Look at me. What? Always a great time. Again, I'm going to throw some love out to Sublime Inc. 577 Route 12 in Groton, Connecticut. The number is 860-445-4200. You got some scratch in your pocket? You got an itch for ink? These are the guys to go see. No doubt. You can ask for Falcon Dave Kovalik. You can ask for Dana Batts. You could even ask for Justin Furr. Or you could ask for Dave the Nightmare Kruger. And that's why he gets paid the big bucks, people. Go down and see him. Tell him the Loki and Jabroni show sent you. Maybe they hook you up with a discount. Maybe they massage your butt cheeks for 5 minutes. I don't know. Whatever the case is. Hey, you can take that. Why not? That's what I'm going to do in 2 weeks. You know, especially if you get a tattoo on your ass. It's like a little massage. I'm taking the butt massage. I don't care. Also, don't forget, going right back to the wrestling theme, April 30th, 2016, Veterans Pro Wrestling presents Colors for a Cause, a veterans and cancer awareness event, $10 per person, doors open at noon, lectures, bands, entertainment, Loki and Jabroni live. And wrestling starts at 5 p.m. Still looking forward to seeing how Big E&C takes Rescue 911, how that's going to go. Can Big Ian do it? Can Rescue 911 fight off the threat of Big E&C? We find out on the 30th. I agree. What do you think? Off topic. On topic, but off topic. We talked about all of this WrestleMania goodness. There are some names missing from this. Some of them are on the pre-show, which I think you can get on the network. Yeah. I'm not sure you're going to get it on pay-per-view. Conspicuous by their absence. The Usos and the Dudley Boys, who have been tearing up television for the last month. They're not on the main card. They've been following this story for like the last 6 months, and the Dudleys and the Usos have just recently tore it up. Don't forget, the Usos got their pee-pee spanked a little recently, and like I said, when you cross these shows, this shit's going to happen. Mm-hmm. He did something on that Totally Divas or whatever the fuck that stupid show is called. Well, he's married to one of the pterodactyls or whatever. The Funkadactyls. He did something stupid, got something on there. So the WWE is kind of smacking the Usos down. So I think, if anything, this isn't a shot at the Dudley Boys. I think this is more of a shot at the Usos. Saying, listen, you play your fucking cards right and you listen to us. If you want to be on both these fucking shows, you need to shut your fucking mouth, know your fucking role, and do your job.
the funny thing about the Usos, you bring them up, it's the same thing with Roman Reigns. These guys are riding the coattails of some very, very big names.
Yeah.
Huge fucking names. You know what I'm saying? And not just huge in stature. Like what Rikishi brought to the WWE. You gotta admit, for a big guy, he was like Vader.
Not even just Rikishi, but you have the Wild Samoans off in Sika. You had Rocky Johnson. You had all these guys of a Samoan background that came before. You're right, and they're riding a pretty heavy-duty coattails.
And let's not
them
forget,
being the sons of Rikishi.
These are supposed to be warriors. If any of you have ever seen these Samoan battle things that they would do before they went into war, they would all in unison do that. Popping their fucking chest and they're fucking throwing around. Now, I'm sorry if we're on the other side of that line. And you come up and you're all like sitting over there and you're picking your asses and you're checking your armor and you're like looking at your buddy like, hey dude, this should be easy. Look at these fucking guys. They're not even wearing armor. And all of a sudden they fucking come out and they start pounding their chests in unison. They start making this fucking booming noise and it starts getting so fucking loud. The trees are literally shaking. That just the fear alone that you're getting just turns the tides. That's what you think of when you think of a Samoa. And these guys do that. They bring it to the table, but it's not enough anymore, boys. It's not. It's not enough to be Samoa. Right, exactly. It's not enough to be Samoa and take punch after punch. And we understand that you guys are warriors. We get that you can fight through pain. It's been proven by your forefathers. Mm-hmm. Step up your game. Show that there's more than just that warrior aspect.
I agree
Show that you can. The Rock did it.
Yep.
The Rock did it with flying fucking colors. So you guys can do it too. Mm-hmm. It's not that I hate Roman Reigns. It's that I really do feel like he just is riding those coattails. And I think he's riding it to the point where he's like,
see, I have a different view of that. I think they're just pushing him down our throats because they think he's the chosen guy. And they've done it a million times before, and they've shit on a million guys before that. What we're going to see is, can he rise above the fans' hatred like Rock did? Or is he going to fall victim like so many more before him?
And that's my fear.
Exactly.
Is you put so much time and effort into it's much like, like the racing. I'm slowly getting back into it. Yep. You know what I'm saying? To put that much time and dedication into something and someone and then have them flip script and then totally fucking destroy your faith. I don't want to go down that road with one of these guys again, which I know what Triple H is. He doesn't hide it. You know what I'm saying? I know what I'm going to get from Triple H. As soon as he walks out of that fucking ring, he's going to do anything he can. Like they said, he is the cerebral assassin.
Right.
The king of kings. He will destroy you.
You get to so much where you like mentally, him and then he breaks your fucking heart and makes you hate him. But he still does the job in between the ropes.
And it's just like what Pitbull was bringing up. He's a player of the game. You could tell. He married into the fucking company, for crying out loud. That's not fake. That's real, people. Yep. Like, he really does care about this company.
Second conspicuous by its absence, and I only say this because they pumped it so hard last year. Why isn't it on the main show? The Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal.
Pisses me off. I don't get it either because the last couple the last WrestleMania, like you said, that was like the third match going into it. And it wasn't like, okay, this is a huge match. It's not fifth up there. It
wasn't Royal Rumble huge, but it had a meaning behind it.
Exactly.
You're honoring Andre the Giant, who is
one
of the most legendary figures in professional wrestling. And now you're relegating this, if I'm reading this correctly, on CBS Sports, not WWE.com, not anywhere else, that it's going to be on the pre-show?
Well, the party's going to start at 5. I will have everything pretty much going. People can show up before that, too, because I plan on doing all that other shit.
So we'll get to see it.
I definitely, it'll be up there, and I agree. It should be up higher. I definitely agree, and that is shitty. And unless I'm mistaken, Wyatt's not hurt, right?
One of them is Rowan or Harper. But Strowman's in it. I think Wyatt's in it. Another glaring omission. Why is Bray Wyatt not on the main card? He's one of the hottest things they have going.
That makes me upset right now. The only thing all right. Let me throw a little fucking wooden spoon into the fucking mix right now. All right. Goldberg interferes in the Triple H one.
Okay.
And make sure Triple H wins.
Ooh.
Okay? Right.
Ooh.
Once again, you're going with that whole, we're giving Sting his apology because we're letting fucking Goldberg have his shining moment. That's all Goldberg wants is one last shining moment. You know what I'm saying?
That one last match. I get it, yeah.
So let's give Goldberg the interference on that match. And then let's turn around and let's give Wyatt the interference on The Undertaker.
Ooh. Where Gary took me to the left, you're taking me to the right.
You got me on that? And he just gives The Undertaker that nice little kiss and good night, baby, and it's breaking into it.
Okay, I have one last question for you before we break into our shenanigans. This may be a lengthy answer, and I want to know why. I don't just want an answer, I want to know why. If there's one name that has been left off WrestleMania, and I have an answer for this as well, one name that is not attached to WrestleMania whatsoever this year on the active roster, who is it, and why do you think it's a shame that they're not on the show this coming Sunday?
Well, I'm going to go right back with the whole Paige thing, man. That really does bug me that she actually isn't in there. It's easy to make a 4-way on the Divas Champion. As a matter of fact, I think it would actually make it a little better. Yes, she's rough. Yes, she's mouthy. Yes, she is very, very raw. The big deal here, though, is she's talented. She is going to make a lot of these divas come about. And let's be honest, this isn't the time of the Bellas anymore. The Bellas are essentially the John Cenas now. Everybody knows who the Bellas are. We need to start making some room for a lot of these younger, these divas. And you need to get her off that fucking show. Like, she needs to focus on wrestling. She needs to become a good wrestler, and she needs to bring it on up. Quick shout out though, because I'm really glad that they're doing this with frickin' Stardust, because ladder match, Stardust, everything else going on there, I would have liked to have seen that a little less people. Like we said, once again, 4-on-4. So you'd have a 4-on-4 ladder match, and then you'd have the 4-on-4 Divas match. That's probably the only thing I would end up changing in this whole thing. I would really have liked to seen Paige in the Diva Championship. I just kind of think she deserves it. Whether you give her, same thing. Don't give her the title, but make people show that she's working. You know what I'm saying?
Show that she's important.
Right, exactly.
I agree with that, and for as much, and my answer is a little bit different, one name I don't see on the main card, and is probably not going to sniff the main card, but they've spent weeks and weeks and weeks making him a hateable character, someone you want to see get their ass kicked, thought it would be a perfect opportunity, is Tyler Breeze. What a great talent that kid is.
Yes.
He's got the selfie stick, and you're watching his entrance video as he's taking it with the furry selfie stick. Yeah. You want to see him get his ass kicked each and every week. Perfect.
They tried it with Rose. Remember that?
Adam Rose.
Yes. They tried it with
Perfect world. If Neville's not hurt, Neville-Tyler Breeze would be a fantastic match. But, of course, unfortunately, Neville broke his ankle a couple weeks ago, and he's going to be out for a little while. That would have been a perfect match. Still, find a place for Tyler Breeze on this show, which obviously the day before, I really don't think they can do it. But then again, like they've always said throughout the 90s, anything can happen in the WWE. So
exactly.
I really do think they dropped the ball not having Tyler Breeze on this show. 100,000 people, selfie stick. Come on. This is a great, great opportunity for this kid, and they dropped it.
I think we've said this a lot before because we're getting close there, but I think we've said this a lot about the WWE. They're so reluctant about letting the new talent kind of take the reins that sometimes they miss these opportunities. And when it comes back around and the kid finally does take off, Daniel Bryan, John Cena, CM Punk, so many guys that they didn't think had the ability to carry the show, and then once you give them the ball, they run. Exactly. And like you said it a couple weeks ago, sometimes Triple H is out of touch, but Triple H built that whole NXT brand. Vince McMahon is certainly out of touch. God, yeah. Yeah.
Some of the
when
writers,
he comes on the show, I cringe.
I do too.
Not because it's not the icon of the man is there, and what he's done for the show.
You can't take it away from him.
Exactly. But there is a time when your son does have the ideas of the show in his best interest.
That's why Shane left.
When your son-in-law has the best show in mind for this. You know what I'm saying? Like, step down, go to work every day with your suit, smile and nod and make friends, and let these boys do their fucking jobs.
Sign the paychecks. Let the young guys determine what's best for... No, I hate to say it, but best for business.
Let the wrestlers decide for once. It's been written and it's been taken care of by all these writers and everything else. Finally get it, just like when Pitbull, when we were interviewing him, and he's out there. His ideas are so fresh and so raw, but you know what? He's probably sitting there going, dude, I've thought of this shit years ago.
I was there, however many, you're right. I've heard it said by Vince McMahon, which I don't believe it when he says it. I've heard it said by Gene Simmons, and I believe it when he says it. I've heard it from Richard Branson, the guy who runs Virgin. The people who pay their money are my bosses. Mm-hmm. Well, Simmons has proved it. Branson's proved it. Vince McMahon, it's time for you to prove it. If the people are truly the bosses, if our dollars have anything to say, it's time for you to put up or shut up. And for the first time ever, I'm going to hit this button rather than the regular button.
Finally, The Rock has come back
to the top 10 list. How'd I do?
Good.
Thanks.
It doesn't matter how you did. No, okay.
Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. Well, WrestleMania weekend is here. We've made this entire episode.
We really did, too.
About
people are going to be turning their heads out. They didn't even go like to one fucked up. What's up with this?
Right? So what I want to do now is it's easy to do a best of.
So easy.
It is not easy to do a worst of.
I don't know.
I will say this. I had a list.
Not without hurting feelings.
I had a list of 50.
Oh, that's awesome.
I pared it down to 11 with one honorable mention. So on the WrestleMania theme, right now is the top 10 worst WrestleMania matches of all time.
Okay.
And I know you're going to have something to say about each of these. The honorable mention. The Undertaker versus soon-to-be Hall of Famer Big Boss Man at WrestleMania 15. Hell in a Cell.
Yeah.
Garbage. I can't say anything more. And then they hung him at the end.
Yeah.
They hung him at the end. How do you tell me that a guy hanging 40 feet above the ring comes back on Monday Night Raw and wants revenge for being hung?
Yeah, I know.
Stupid booking all the way around. Number 10, Mark Merrow and Sable versus Luna Vachon at Goldust, WrestleMania 14.
It's really sad because I really did like Goldust and Luna.
I liked all four of them, but it doesn't make sense because at some point the guys fought the girls. It ruined it.
No,
it
really did. And especially since Sable can't do shit and Luna would actually fuck Mark Merrow up. So
yeah, true. This could have been higher, but when you hear my further ones, you'll understand why it's this low. Number 9, WrestleMania 27, Jerry the King Lawler versus Michael Cole.
Yeah, that was stupid.
Terrible. I actually had at number 9, before I refined my list, Bret Hart, Vince McMahon at WrestleMania a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
Terrible match, but having Michael Cole in a match, no.
No, it's
just
ridiculous.
no. Vince McMahon at least has been in matches. Number 8, Chris Jericho faces Roddy Piper, Jimmy Snuka, and Rick Steamboat at WrestleMania 25.
Yeah. Bad match, good names.
Good names, but if you put them together when they're all in their prime, which you obviously can't do.
No.
There was nothing worse. And I had a friend of mine, I was living in Florida at the time, who liked wrestling. He was on the Fringe. We went to my buddy's house and watched WrestleMania. And he turned to me and he said, "Why are those old bastards in the ring?" The only one that looked good was Steamboat. Snuka looked like junk. Piper looked like junk. You can't stop it.
Right.
Number 7, Hillbilly Jim and the Haiti Kid and Little Beaver team up to face King Kong Bundy, Lord Littlebrook, and Little Tokyo, WrestleMania 3. The whole highlight of that was King Kong Bundy body slamming Little Beaver in the middle of the ring.
Yes.
The rest of the match, junk. The first one on my list that I was actually in attendance for, number 6, Bam Bam Bigelow and Luna Vachon, who makes an appearance on my list again, versus Doink and Dink at WrestleMania 10.
Yeah.
3 grown-ass adults against a midget, or one's teaming with a midget.
Yeah.
It made no sense on the biggest show of the year. I know they wanted to do big things with Doink. It never caught fire.
No.
They should have kept him a heel. It was great when Doink was a heel. Once they turned him babyface, nobody liked him.
No, exactly. It's just, you couldn't buy it. Everybody hates a clown.
Exactly.
Nobody likes clowns.
I like the Joker. That's different. Number 5, Sheamus versus Daniel Bryan at WrestleMania 28, a match that lasted all of 19 seconds.
Yeah, I remember that.
Garbage, especially for a championship.
Yes.
Number 4, Uncle Elmer took on adorable Adrian Adonis at WrestleMania 2.
I remember that.
Adonis could work.
Yeah.
Uncle Elmer?
No.
Not so much.
No.
Number 3, the infamous blindfold match, Jake the Snake Roberts against Rick the Model Martel at WrestleMania 7.
Like, why would you even think of something like that?
All right. Anybody who doesn't know the backstory, Rick the Model Martel had his little perfume gimmick and shot it in Jake Roberts' eyes, and they took weeks and weeks on television to show you these 2-minute clips of Jake Roberts getting his eyes fixed. Well, you took my sight, I'm going to take your sight. One of the worst matches I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Terrible. Number 2, the second one I've ever been in attendance for, WrestleMania 11. Lawrence Taylor versus Bam Bam Bigelow.
Yeah, that was a joke.
Explain to me in 50 words or less why Lawrence Taylor was in a ring at all.
No. Should not have ever happened.
Okay, that was 27, but I'll take it. And now, my opinion, the worst match in WrestleMania history is the Red Rooster, Terry Taylor versus Bobby the Brain Heenan at WrestleMania 5.
Yes. All right, I'll buy that one.
And the crowd goes wild. So, guys, thank you for joining us, not only this week. You people can shut up now. Seriously. Can you? Thank you.
I like that.
I like that.
That's fine.
Thank you, not only for downloading us this week, but for downloading us for the last year. This has been an incredible ride. I couldn't be prouder. So here comes where I'm going to give my real quick gimmick speech. Thank you for downloading this week's episode, and thank you if you've subscribed to the show. By subscribing to the show each and every week, our episodes are automatically downloaded to whatever device you listen to. No fuss, no muss, no hassle, no bullshit. Go like the Facebook page. It's where you find all the updates. Leave a review on iTunes. Sully the Scully needs a home. That's about it.
Yeah, especially now since I got no alcohol left in my bar. We just had Easter, and man, that was a...
Was that not just an alcohol-induced That was
a good
Easter
time,
egg?
but yeah, it hurt my bar. So the only thing...
By the way, anybody who wants to come to the WrestleMania party, find the 11 eggs that the kids didn't find last week.
Yeah, exactly. There you go. So I just want to say that it's been a ride. It really has. It's been fantastic doing this with you. It's been fantastic bringing it to everybody every single week. Like we've had. You can go back to like week 3. You can go back to week 4. You can go back to week 12. You can go back to week 30. I mean, right now, all the stuff we have it archived. When we get everything going, we'll
Quick
have.
note: Yarn.fm has every episode archived for us. I don't know how they do it, and I don't know why they do it, but I'm going to push Yarn.fm as hard as I can. Because if you want to go back and hear how bad we were on week 1, please go back and listen to it.
If
you want to hear Gary Wolfe, which I believe was episode 19, go back and hear it. Mark
Slaughter was
everybody.
13. Yeah, there's our 15. I'm sorry.
And if Calvin, if you're still out there, and if you want to binge listen to every week in one fell swoop, man, this is the way to do it. Yarn FM, a new platform that I just found out 2 weeks ago that we're on. Every episode, after this week, all 52 in one place.
That's awesome.
It's phenomenal.
And we are definitely glad to be bringing it to you. And we're going to continue bringing it to you.
Yes. Thank you for being the most awesome partner.
Like I said,
I can't say it any other way.
Everybody said it wasn't going anyplace. Hey, we're here a year strong, and we got 230 likes on our Facebook page. We do have the reviews are creeping. Yep. Like I said, I want at least 20 reviews before we put those names in a hat.
At different episodes, we've had over 2,000 people download the episode. We want more. Guys, that's where you come in. Without you, there's no us. Tell your friends. Pimp us out. Listen to them one time. You might like it. And you know what? If they do, great. And if they don't, maybe you find somebody else who does. I'm really happy where we are. I'm really happy looking forward to the future next week with Mike Riccardi with the whole WrestleMania weekend wrap-up. The 30th, the cancer event. Eddie Jacobs coming back. Eddie Focus, as it were, for another round of You Know What's Fucked Up. More guests, more fun, more shenanigans.
And I think this year we're going to focus on having a lot more, say, local and a lot more just surprises for you, if you guys can feel it. Like we're constantly dragging our brains through this. We're getting and it's going to be a good time. Stick around. You guys have a blast. Trust me on that.
Absolutely.
Guys, enjoy your weekend as always. I am Loki.
I am Jabroni.
And we will see you guys next weekend.
Stay phenomenal, guys.